Well, that little journey could have gone better. Half a dozen goblins dead, a poor abused polar bear put down, and Dreamer nearly torn apart. If we're going to survive out there, we're going to need to be smart. Good hearts and perseverance will only get us so far. But it's not all doom and gloom. Grin seemed to have himself a good night last night. But tomorrow, we head out with Haruna and her gang towards the Dwarven Valley. What fun will we find along the way? Find out on today's short quest, Long Rest.
Alrighty. So, does anyone else want to do anything while we're still in town?
Nothing major, but Dreamer's gonna check on his goldfish.
Nice.
Okay.
Still just blunking against the glass.
And then if Kralik wants to do anything, have that in mind. We're gonna do the goldfish
Dreamer's checking on Swimmer.
here. So Dreamer,
That's awesome.
I would ask, while the others are out doing their shopping, doing their ritual, etc., where are you when you go to check on your goldfish? Do you find an inn room? Are you outside? Do you do it out in sort of like the common room?
I think he finds one of the inn rooms that's probably not occupied right now. Just like offload his stuff, getting ready for like the night. Then just pull out the goldfish and his like cartography tools and his map, and just like make sure the goldfish isn't frozen.
Surprisingly, seems to be doing well up here in the north. Whatever fluid it is swimming in, it seems resistant to the cold. You're not seeing even really any sign of ice crystals, though it is cold to the touch. You could hear that steady tink, 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 tink as the two eyes bulging on either side of its head as it rocks into the glass trying to swim forward are knocking against the sphere of its prison. And it's just kind of cruising around, swimming in circles in its small confined space. And one of those googly eyes, always fixated on your face as it swims in circles. They even rotate into its head to kind of continue to watch you, even if it turns its back to you.
If it's running into the glass, he'll keep holding onto it, because I imagine there's a little bit of momentum to it. So it might roll away like a hamster.
Yeah, you could kind of feel it rocking a little in your hand. It's not a lot of force. Certainly, if it were, it would probably break the glass. But it is enough that you imagine that if you did put it on the ground, it would start rolling around the room.
Oh, so this thing's like an orb?
Yeah, it's like an orb.
Oh, I thought it was just like a fishbowl, like a regular fishbowl, like it had a top to it type thing. I was like, it's gonna pour itself out, like just splash out on the ground. I didn't realize it was just an orb. That's hilarious. This thing could just roll
It is
around the north.
completely enclosed. It is like a snow globe with a tiny mechanical fish inside.
That is fantastic. I want to use that as my spell focus. just shocks the shit out of the little thing every time I fucking cast a spell.
Oh no!
I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
I didn't buy him for you to torture him.
I wouldn't. It was a
You
joke.
monster.
I'm the
I'm the moral,
Korean daddy.
moral
I'm the
compass.
guy. Yeah, I'm the... I don't know about moral compass, but
Yeah, no, that's probably too many, to be honest.
yeah.
She's the nicest one.
Nor Dreamer.
Dreamer's too awkward to be nice.
Murdering that, yeah. Midas and murdering that little rat lady. But...
He manages it from time to time, but I'm convinced it's an accident.
Nice.
Little tink, tink, tink,
This
tink,
is true.
tink against the glass.
Poor little Tink Tink.
Oh, that's a good name.
Tink
Yeah.
Tink? That's
Tink
an
Tink.
old Cat Williams joke. But, anyways.
Anyways.
He'll lay out his map of the north here, Then he'll lay out this map that's been crudely drawn that he's had with him for a while, and just like try to compare and see if there's any similarities.
I would say
Secrets.
roll me a history check. I'd say with an advantage because you do have two, primary sources in front of you.
Should bring Cal in on that shit.
Oh, I was like, why do I only have a +2? So an 11.
11. Alright. Looking at these maps and comparing them, this older map, it is fairly difficult to make out in places where it's either been torn or stained, from people placing drinks on it or spilling something. You are sensing that there is a pattern here. Like, hey, is that the Eastway? Is that Lake Dinishir? Or Loch Dinishir there? There is certainly... It is of Icewind Dale, but no prominent features immediately stand out to you amidst all the very fine ink marks.
And he'll just puzzle over this for like an hour and just tuck it away again.
So, spending some time to look over the fine details and maybe further study of it at a later date would unlock, some of its secrets, but at this time, that's as most as you get out of it.
Okay. Then I suppose he'll just post up with the goldfish in his hand.
It's now sort of almost swimming down. Obviously, its sphere doesn't have any corners, but it is angled downward, trying to swim forward, constantly tink, 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 tinking across the glass. Anyone else want to do anything?
Krellik's just getting his hammer silvered.
Alrighty.
That makes sense.
That is an overnight job. It is going to be 100 gold to do that. Then come the following morning. Morning, again, being the operative word here when the sky is constantly dark. You're able to retrieve your silvered weapon, and you find it only costs you 90 gold from Black Iron Blades. Seems like Haruna's deal and Tavini's connection there has put you in good standing with the dwarven brother and sister that run the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Discount.
And that is going to be, because they are in outfitters as well, any other materials you want to buy will also be at 10%. So anything from the PHB that you buy from them, you can knock off 10% of the gold price.
I would like to buy things, but I literally have 2 gold to rub together.
So, looking at our map of Icewind Dale, which way do you guys feel like going? I am giving you free reign. You can choose whether you want to travel the western road towards Targos and Tourmaline or Bremen, whether you want to head down the east way to East Haven or Caer Dineval. You could turn around and go back down the Ten Trail. I don't know why, but I will allow it. Or
Yes.
you could strike off into the wilderness.
I've thought about it, and you know what? Fuck this.
Nice. Yep. I'm going back to the icebreaker. I'm going to take it over. I'm going to do a pirate adventure by myself.
You're gonna get strung up for stealing that sword.
I'd give it back. That'd be the whole thing. I'd come back like, I believe this is yours, sir. Now that job.
You can have it back. Stab.
Nice. So I just looked it up, and I can't find anything on here. I just reread this whole thing about a focus for him. I mean, the only thing it says when you reach 3rd level, you heighten your battle ferocity with the ability to cast spells. See Chapter 10 of the Player's Handbook for general rules of spellcasting, and Chapter 11 for the Player's Handbook for the Sorcerer's spell list. But it doesn't say, like, you use Sorcerer, you have to have a spell focus like a Sorcerer or whatever, so I have no idea.
Yeah, you're effectively a sorcerer. So, if a sorcerer needs a spell focus, I think so do you.
It makes a good point.
Krellik just wants to go to the Dwarven Valley.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think as far as where we go, I still like the idea of going with the group of dwarves, because they're all heading to the Dwarven Valley anyways. So that was, Kelvin's Cairn was our next big stop with the loop around. The only more difficult thing that may be or may not be is when we get to Kelvin's Cairn, or Caer Konig, because one of our main ones was the Reged Glacier, and that's way out there, and like...
Oh yeah, that is a hell of a hike.
Yeah, and that was one of the main ones. That's Yennefer's dagger is that one.
It's also the Lonely Wood.
It is 40 miles or 30 miles to the closest point of the
And what is
Reghead
it,
Glacier.
half a mile with dog sleds an hour.
I was gonna say, we can go to the Dwarven Valley and try to find dwarves with the dogs and sleds, or go to Kier Koenig after the valley to try to find dogs with sleds.
Yeah, I'm sure
So-
there's somewhere we could find to gear up for a long one, which is probably what we'll have to do.
Did she say where at the glacier?
Of course not.
Because that thing's
No.
huge.
I know it is. It's literally hundreds of miles. I mean, we'll have to start asking. I'm sure.
It's like giving a package to UPS, and they're like, where's this headed? New York City.
Yeah. If exactly.
Okay, you just want me to leave it on
New
the
York
street.
City.
Okay.
At that point, it actually would be like New York State. It'd be it's like New York. Oh, the city? No, the state.
Well,
You'll figure it out. Just go there. Ask around.
yeah, we'll find our way. But yeah, I think traveling
That's
with the
true.
dwarves for now is the play.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I'm sure if a tiefling lady showed up in Kaer Koenig and then shot off into the glacier, somebody's going to remember that. So I'm sure we can get some type of information once we get there, and then we can make that decision once we actually get there and do all that. But in the meantime, yeah, I think if we hook around Targos to Tourmaline, then we can take a small hike up to the Lonely Wood if we decide, if like say that bounty's good enough,
Great white moose.
and then we can Great White Buffalo.
The dreaded white moose of the Lonely Wood.
I love it.
Me edit my campaign notes.
Yep.
The dreaded white. I just love that
The
name.
dreaded
All
white
right.
moose.
There's
of
also good
Lonely
fishing
Wood.
at Lonely Wood, apparently. So
It's also,
That's actually where why friggin' one of the reasons Reen came up here.
well, there you go.
That was weird. I'll say he was planning to, after all this got done, and he met up with his mom. He was planning on retiring up here so that he could keep her safe out in nowhere and make money off doing the knuckleheads
Felgren does love a good forest.
or steelheads.
He loves a good forest.
Knucklehead.
So
It's true. He does like a good forest.
it's that fey in him.
So, yep, I say that's what we do. I say we pack up, we head out with the dwarves up to. Actually, I don't even know. Is Targos at that crossroads, or does it hook back up? Do we even end up in Targos, or do we kind of shoot past it?
No, they would be taking you into Targos. It's only a 2-hour trip
Oh,
by the
really?
road to Targos.
Oh, that's not bad. Well, shit. Then by the day we could almost be in Tourmaline.
Yeah, a day and a half, maybe.
Oh, that's not bad.
2 days. I don't know.
So, we'll say early the next morning, as you are all preparing, our lad Felgren, waking up in a different place than the others, you find yourself alone in a small back room on the second story of the shop that Crystal runs.
Robbed blind and missing a kidney.
On the other side of the door that sort of you learned last night leads out into her shop. Seems that she sort of lives behind it there. You can hear thumping and mild cursing very faintly. It's hard to make out exactly the words in sort of the main room.
Okay. Yeah, I think you'd get up, grab his pack, and see what the kerfuffle is.
And as you pull open the door and step out into what would ostensibly be the actual shop, you could see Crystal over by that glass window, kind of bent over a little, rubbing her head, her ears laid back, not quite angrily, but very much kind of distressed a little, as she's rubbing at a knot on her head. Good morning.
Morning.
Sorry, it's difficult to be sexy when I've got the, I thumped my head on the shelf.
Don't worry about it.
Is that laughter I hear in your voice? Are you making fun of me?
A little bit.
She flashes you a very toothy grin. Hey, you'd best be careful. I might use my claws on you again.
Oh, wouldn't want that.
I mean, you seem to like, but, what do I know? You are leaving this morning, you said.
Yes. And, knowing Rian, he'll be ringing the bells about now.
I haven't heard anyone come up the steps.
Thump, 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 thump.
I would, I'm not normally the type for breakfast, but, if you wanted to catch something before you go.
Sounds like a plan.
Great. There's a place 2 blocks from here. She just continues to kind of water her plants.
Is that a joke?
What? Oh, you thought that was...
Come on.
Yeah, alright. Yeah, no, I'm fucking with you. Let's go.
Come get breakfast. Let's go. Had enough of this for one evening. Not often I find someone more clever than I am.
And she, takes you 2 blocks away to Kelvin's Comfort, where your friends are staying.
Alright.
Hey, Grin!
Good morning.
Well, good morning to you.
Morning.
I take it this is the rest of your group?
Yes, this is Crystal, this is everyone else.
Hello.
Dreamer gives his little circle wave.
Yeah,
love
and so as you're kind of preparing for your day, down having breakfast in the common room of Kelvin's Comfort, Felgrin, who has been missing the whole night, enters with a medium brown-furred tabaxi woman with very angular features, pointed ears that have small tufts on the end that end in black fur, and a not quite haughty expression, but certainly seems to be sizing up everyone that she lays eyes on. Very discerning look.
I think Felgrin's still getting his hairdo in order.
Nice.
Be gentle with him. He had a rough night.
Oh,
We're here for
dear.
breakfast. If I might join you.
Hi, which would be our pleasure to have you.
Oh, great.
Felgrin will motion to a seat next to him.
She settles down into a chair and just kind of pulls her tail off to one side so she's not sitting on it uncomfortably. So, what do you all do? Aside from wander out into dirty places and bring back treasures to buy?
We're deliverers. That's what we're up here for. As far as right now, we got a few packages we're delivering, and then we'll see where we go from there. I'm actually looking for my mother, actually. Don't suppose you might know her.
I don't know many people, but try me.
Her name's Saoirse. Saoirse Stormlight. She have red hair. Probably cussing when you met her. Most likely.
Saoirse. She kind of rubs her bottom lip a little, very thoughtfully. The name does not trigger anything. Most people, they come through Bryn Shander when they first arrive here in the Icewind Dale. But it is not as if I meet everyone. I'm sorry.
I wasn't actually expected to come this way. She'd have been up here, 10 years now. Yeah, I'd say it'd be about 10 years, and if she came up by boat long before the rivers froze, so she'd probably be on the shore somewhere, so...
Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
Oh, no worry. I'll find her sooner or later. She'll show up.
And, how about you, little one? And she is, looking at you, Tavini.
Tavini looks up from her hot cocoa and she's like,
I am a apprentice smith.
An apprentice smith? And do you carry your anvil with you out into the wilderness?
No, I carry my my tools and my prayers to the Father of the Forge.
Ah, holy woman. I am
yes.
arcanist myself. I have no understanding of the gods, but I respect those who do. Have you made anything interesting, young smith?
Oh, yes. Yes.
and she turns around and reaches into her backpack, which is hanging off the back of her chair, rummages around, and then pulls out the lantern, which for her it looks kind of big, but for everyone else it would be like a rather kind of small lantern.
I made this.
Huh. Oh, look at that.
It is not safe to have a lantern lit in your bag, she says as she leans forward and kind of looks at it curiously, tapping the glass with the claw.
Oh, it does not have heat. It cannot burn things.
An enchantment.
And she puts her hand on the front of the lantern.
See?
I see what you mean. And you said you made this.
Mm-hmm.
It's rather cute. If you're willing to stay in town and, make a couple of these for me, I'm sure we could split the profit.
Perhaps another time. I have family here in 10 towns. I would like to see, just to check on them.
Ah, very good. I'll take it as a promise on your part.
Oh,
Even a cleric needs money.
Tavini just looks a little startled, and then just goes back to sipping her rather large mug of hot cocoa.
And you, strong but silent. And she's looking over at Krellick. I take it you are the muscle of the group?
He's probably already got a fistful of food in his mouth. He just nods.
And the brains.
I am the brains.
I am Brenicus.
Oh, Krellick is a very strong, also just a famous bear tamer.
Is that so? I have not heard of Krellick the Bear Tamer.
Oh,
It
I
should.
could spin.
It should have worked, but it didn't. It didn't work at all. Did it?
No, it didn't.
Aye, you may not heard it yet, but make sure to spread that around. Make sure everyone knows of Krellick the bear tamer.
That sound has the ring of a story.
Oh yeah, it's a short
Aye.
one.
Yeah. Dreamer, why don't you shore the story? Just chunks missing off him and shit.
Opens up coat, shows the missing
Yeah.
chunks.
That's what happens when you try to tame a starving bear to carry home a cart full of iron ingots.
I take it, well, it doesn't really strike me as a tamer. That seems like you were fucking with the bear. Should I spread the
Let's-
rumors of Krellick the bear fucker?
That is a fantastic idea,
Yeah.
honestly.
Does he need assistance?
Tavini nearly spit.
How many-
She nearly spit out her hot cocoa.
Wow, that's quite a title.
Krellick the bear fucker.
It's just gonna turn into that bit from Letterkenny.
Yeah.
I'm only
It'll take at
messing with
least
you.
2 people.
If that's not something you would like, I can spread the word of Krellick the bear tamer.
No, just Krellick's fine.
Krellick it is.
Is that what we're doing? We're spreading our legend.
Actually, I'd prefer if you didn't happen to mention the half-elf with the dragon daughter.
I think in this town, rumors of such have probably already spread within the walls.
Hey, maybe that's true.
She's a little hard to miss.
Aye,
To
she is.
ignore too.
Yeah,
I mean, who would want to ignore me?
exactly.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Felgren.
She's so
not
adorable.
me.
Yes?
No, that's the answer to her question.
Oh. Well, okay, very good. Always with the insight.
That is, the things he says, I can't get past them sometimes. They're hilarious, but I know they're not on purpose. They can't be.
I'd say you should pose a question to Dreamer, but you're not going to get the answer you want.
Oh, what sort of answer would you give me?
I go to dark, dirty places in the world and bring back treasure.
That about sums up most adventures that I've encountered. You're an honest sort. Dirty places. Gross.
Yes, very honest. It makes my dealings difficult.
I miss the warm sands of home. I can't stand this place, but I have my little business. I enjoy it.
Well,
And
then
it's
why
all
are
right.
you here, if I may ask?
It sounds like there's a story to that.
That's going to cost you quite a bit more than 10 gold.
Well, I'll find you when I've found my fortune.
Yes, now, you can ask me another time. Maybe I'll feel inclined.
Will do.
I'm not, keeping you, am I? You said, you were going to leave today. You have a schedule to keep?
I'm in no rush to get back into the cold.
Hey, we're just having some breakfast. We got some other people to meet up with before we head out.
And, do they know that you're meeting up with them? She asks and kind of looks around the tavern room.
They're at a different tavern, but yeah, we told them we were going to ride with them up to the Dwarven Valley.
Certainly, treat yourselves carefully up there. And I just mean treat yourself carefully anytime you leave a town.
Aye. Yeah, we've been out there a little bit already. It's not the prettiest, but we seem to get by.
Well, we'll be traveling with a party of dwarves, so if there's anything evil out there, they'll hear us.
Aye. That's not the truth. Do you think they all snore like Krellick snores?
Of course they do.
Wasn't sure if that was like a racial trait.
Draw music to my ears.
I'm sure it's like white noise to Krellick. God, he sounds like a congested wildebeest. When he
Next,
sleeps.
like, 3 to 4 nights, we're gonna have to all fucking roll Constitution saves in the morning. Or be exhausted.
Stuck on a ship with him. It's a nightmare.
You only slept in the same room one night with him. I was the one
You
who
could
had
hear him in the other side on the other side of the hall.
I was afraid poor Miri was gonna scratch her own ears out.
I mean, why would I do that?
Because of how loud he was. Like, she couldn't hear him.
She's
Don't
kind-
worry, we'll work on your comedic timing later.
You'll get humor later.
She gives you a very confused look and then kind of leaps down from your shoulder to the back of your chair. And you can actually hear it kind of groaning a little under her weight.
You need to stop hanging around with Dreamer so much.
I'm funny.
You are
Sometimes.
hilarious. I was gonna say, you are hilarious, sir, but it's the intent.
You're a different kind of funny.
Yeah.
Funny weird.
Well, let's go meet the dwarves.
Yeah.
Now we're going to eat breakfast, Dreamer. Some of us have to eat.
Maybe you should have got here a little sooner then.
Oh, I'm eating breakfast, so
Dreamer will plop a good berry in front of
I'm not eating a good berry when I'm in a tavern with food.
Okay.
Walk away. Gonna go meet with the dwarves.
Makes me think of those Snickers commercials. You're not
It's like-
yourself when you're hungry.
It's like
Those are
Hangry.
played by Joe Pesci.
it's like the hobbits with the fucking was it the lambus bread.
Lettuce bread, yeah.
They had to be just sick of that stuff by the end of it. Like that's what the good berries are gonna be eventually, unless you can like mix it up and change how they taste.
We need to get that spice pouch.
Exactly.
Make the schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
But no, at the very least, he's gonna get some toast and jam to go or something.
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah. They would certainly be able to supply that here.
If Krellick is going to pick up his weapon from Black Iron Blades, Tavini will go with him.
Alrighty. So the pair of you, upon finishing breakfast, if anyone else would like to go with them, they're free to.
No, I think Rian's gonna go meet up with the dwarves so they don't leave without us.
Well, make your way over to Black Iron Blades. Pull up Bryn Shander here. As it is still comparatively early in the day, the forge is quiet, and as you approach the sort of general store that they have here, the Outfitters, you can see that is locked up and dark inside as well. However, the half of the building that is sort of their living quarters, you can see the glow of lanterns from within. What are you doing?
Tavini will approach the door to their... They have an outside door to their lodging, or do they only have the access through the general store?
There's an access through the general store, but you would know that just inside the forge area that there's an access there as well.
Yeah, so she'll go to that door, the one in the forge area itself. She'll knock.
We're not open yet.
It is Tavini.
You hear scrambling inside as somebody comes to the door, and a number of locks unhinging on the other side there. Elsa pulls open the door. Tavini, I thought you would have already left. I'm still kind of doing Crystal. Alright, it's okay. Keep going.
We are leaving this morning.
Oh, well, why don't you come inside? Have you had breakfast yet?
We have Krellick, you have your weapon here, yes?
I Cameras are getting silvered here.
Yes, Garn! Garn! And she kind of shouts inside, and you hear a very muffled male dwarven voice kind of around a mouthful of food. I'm coming! Garn comes stamping out into the outdoors, kind of shuffling a coat on over his shoulders. Very plainly wiping his mouth. He still has a bit of egg in the corner of it that he finally gets with a middle knuckle on his hand. He hasn't even said anything yet. His mouth is still full of food, but he reaches down and kind of ruffles Tavini's hair. Alright. Oh yeah. We did a silvering job for you.
Aye, you did.
Aye. I'll go. And he sort of, still obviously waking up, kind of turns around and shuffles back inside, motioning you to follow him.
He'll follow him in.
He takes you through the interior entrance to the sort of general store that they have there. And while there are weapons sort of lining the walls and a couple of shields placed up there, he goes to a closet off to one side where he has to take a key from around a loop on his belt and actually unlock it in, kind of a more secure place to keep orders. I managed to get it done. Then it was only an hour's work or so. Tried to make it nice for you. It's, well. And he turns around and holds the weapon out to you, and it's a serviceable job. Again, the artistic nature of Garn is utterly lacking. He's a little tone deaf in that department. But it is a perfectly serviceable, uninspiring quality of work.
Krellick will take it and just kind of look it over, kind of swing it a couple times. Aye, this'll do.
He's kind of watching you swing it with a very wary eye and looking nervously around the general store. I wouldn't do that if Elsa comes in here.
Right.
Wildly swinging it, just
We'll put it away.
Is there anything else I can get you?
No, this is.
Have you got yourself a little heat for the road, if you know what I'm speaking of? And he kind of pulls his coat open and motions to a flask on the inside poking out of a pocket.
Like those New York peddlers, the trench coats with all the shit in it.
What about a
bunch
pipe?
of liquor bottles.
I don't think it's gonna fit a pint, but...
A pipe.
Pipe!
Aye. Had one, but it
Pipe.
got broke.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, no, we've got pipes. And he motions to a shelf where, yes, you can see about 4 different pipes, each of them carved in a different style. Very plainly not a piece of Garn's work, as he's a metal worker, and these either appear to be wood or ivory. 2 of them a kind of darker wood with nice polish, carved with knucklehead trout. One of them in ivory, done with the same sort of knucklehead trout pattern going on there. The last one is done up with a carving of a white dragon, and this one is ivory too, coiled around the end of it where the smoke would emerge from.
Krellick will nod to the dragon one. How much is that one right there?
Well, there's a local man that carves them. Knucklehead ivory is not particularly cheap. I'd part with it for 2 gold. Small piece.
2 gold for the dragon pipe? I think I could do that.
Now, I've got because you're practically family with Tavini there, let me share you a bit of what I like to smoke. And he...
It's called Maui Wowie.
What bubblegum
Yeah.
kush? Oh my god. Krellick's getting smoked out right now.
shuffles inside and past Elsa and Tavini. Elsa has kind of hung with you while Krellick is being taken care of by Garn.
In quotations.
And
taken
she
care of.
is fussing over you, immediately, like, as soon as they've gone to go get Krellick's weapon, has kind of steered you to a table and put a plate in front of you, even though you said you'd already eaten. And sits down in an adjacent chair, just kind of laces her fingers together and rests her chin on the back of her hands to, So you've been gone for a few days. What have you been up to?
We went and found a sled with much metal. There was goblins and very hungry polar bears. It was very it was
And she's trying not to say that it was dangerous.
And Elsa is just still kind of staring at you. Haruna had said something of the sort.
Yes. They were the ones who asked us to bring back their sled. We also brought back the remains of their friend.
Nasty business, that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it happens if you go wandering out into the wild. And she gives you a very pointed look.
We will be careful.
I'm not worried about you being careful. I'm worried about everything else trying to kill you, even if you are being careful.
She just gives her a smile.
I can't say no to you. If I thought that I could tie you up and keep you here and make sure that you didn't go out adventuring, I would do it. As it were. No. Yeah, you're not gonna learn anything here from Garn. Need life experiences for your art.
Speaking of art.
And she reaches into her backpack and pulls out her lantern again.
I made this last night.
Would you look at that? That's a bit of magic in this, ain't it? And she's kind of tapping the glass, almost the same as Crystal had. And, kind of even opens if it has a hinge.
Yeah.
And, really kind of almost sticks her nose inside of it to check out that flame inside. Oh, and it sparkles!
and it is no heat, cannot be extinguished. It is his.
And then, she'll, once Elsa's done sticking her nose in it, she'll close the little glass thing and she'll pull on there's a little button, right near the top, and she'll pull it down and this metal slides over the glass and no more light.
See?
Oh, that's so clever. I know, you want to stay in town a few days and make a few of these for me. I'm sure that they would sell well.
You are the second person to say that.
And her eyes narrow. Who was the first?
Crystal?
Oh, she's not a bad sort. Weird, but not bad. A competitor, though. You come to family first, you understand?
Okay. I will try.
I'll take that as a promise.
Man, she's just making promises all over the place without meaning to.
Tarini's just oh.
Oh boy.
She needs a manager.
For real.
Grin.
Yes, hello. For a modest 10% of the profit.
So, have you and your friends, you're outfitted to go back out there?
I think so. We have snowshoes. Oh, we have not used our rations, so we are okay.
Right. I think I have something. And she gets up and she shuffles into the general store and comes back after a minute or so with a glass vial about 6 inches long with a cork stopper inside which this almost viscous green fluid kind of gently rocks from side to side as she carries it over to you and very gingerly places it down on the table between you. I used to carry a vial of this, before I met, well, I had a man for a bit, and, we split, and, my brother and I, he's always looked out for me, but, he kind of encouraged me to carry some of this around with me whenever I was, walking through town alone at night. This is acid, honey. It's acid. Just if someone gives you trouble,
God.
straight into the face. You understand?
That would hurt a great deal.
Yes, it is. That's the intention, honey.
Oh.
You're tiny.
Your D&D mace.
She is very small.
What? I do not, I don't think I can reach their, face.
Oh, I'm sure it'll hurt wherever you put it. I spilled some of the stuff on me and I think I still got the scar.
Oh.
That's a small one. Don't give me that.
Okay. Yes.
So, anyone gives you trouble on your adventures, right? Right into the eyes.
Hit them with acid.
Yes.
Yes.
Then the mace.
Acid to the downstairs.
There you go.
Oh, God.
So,
I think it
yeah,
hurts on your face.
Yep.
Oof.
You've been given a flask of acid.
That
Or vial of
is
acid.
awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, don't make a mention of it.
Can I, pay you for this?
You did us a big service bringing that iron back into town. Though I did notice that, we had ordered 300 and we were a pair shy.
What? There was missing iron?
Not much. I'm sure it fell off the back of the sled. Frankly, does that metal man with ya eat, ingots?
It's like his version of a Snickers.
I imagine I'm probably outside or something like that.
The cut back to fucking Dreamer just chomping on a fucking iron ingot. What?
I don't know. I do not know if he eats. He might. I can ask if.
It would be awkward, and it's only 2 ingots out of the 300, and it was attacked by a yeti. Probably did just fall off. The rest of you seem an honest sort, and I'm not saying he's dishonest. I just mean does he eat metal?
Can't trust a robot.
I will watch and see what he
Thank you for that.
eats.
I'm curious.
As am I. It's very, very, very fascinating build.
Yeah, that's if you can make something like this lamp, you think one day you'd be able to make me one of those?
A dreamer?
Well, maybe not so much. I remember him being a sweet lad, but I mean, one that is perhaps not so, independent. Well, no, shit. That sounds really bad.
Build me a slave, will you?
Little bit. But I would like to find out.
I'm putting my foot in my mouth a lot today. Consider it early morning. Early morning, Elsa, you know me.
Yes.
Apparently I don't.
I thought I did.
She just smiles happily at Elsa, just fondly remembering all the times they've had breakfast.
Elsa reaches for her coffee and just starts taking the long sip and staring out the window.
Tavini will behave herself and eat the breakfast that she was given, so Elsa doesn't chide her.
That's
Be
awesome.
A little balloon, like Augustus Gloop. Just full of food.
Cutting back to Krellick and Garn. He shuffles down a narrow hallway through the kitchen, sort of past Tavini and Elsa, and takes you into a narrow hallway where there's a room on the left-hand side where the door is sort of cracked open, and you could see a bed with a floral pattern blanket on it, and there's, a small vase of dried flowers, sort of off to one side. And Garn pushes open a door on the opposite side of the hallway, which is almost barren in its decor. There's a leather apron that is very neatly folded on top of a small side table. What little there is that isn't like tucked away into a shelf or into a dresser seems to be very meticulously like aligned with different edges on the table and stuff. Very much getting the vibe of a hyper-specific person who just needs to have everything in order. And Garn heads over to that side table with the leather apron and kind of adjusts it for a moment, make sure that it's aligned with the edge of the table and, you know, everything's squared away. And then pulls open that top drawer. I think I've got... Yep. He takes out a small leather pouch of dark gray leather. It's probably a couple of ounces with a drawstring. This is... I can get more easy. But this here, you wind up sitting down at the campfire or something. I found that I can make different shapes with it a lot more easily than I can some of my other stuff that I've tried. And he gives you about 4 ounces of tobacco, which, when smoked with your new pipe, you can roll a performance check and try to shape it into a different shapes.
Like Gandalf.
At most about a foot square.
That's awesome.
Alright.
You've got a full 10 uses in there. It takes a bit of practice to really get it down, and, you know, I see a dog, I'll try to make a dog, and I'm just no good at it.
I probably won't be much good at it either, but...
One can only try.
Aye. So how much for the lot?
You're set on the pipe, just 2 gold, and don't worry about the tobacco.
Alright. I'll drop the two gold to him and put the pipe in his pocket.
So, you're taking... Tavini hasn't been hurt on your adventures yet, has she?
No, nothing's touched her. And I aim to keep it that way.
And he claps you on the shoulder. See that you do. Elsa is terribly attached to the girl. And you can tell, even you can tell by his worried expression that he is very feels a lot of affection for Tavini as well. Yeah. Elsa worries a lot. I imagine. Thinks about her, you know, every night that she's away.
Not so
I'm
much
sure
me,
she
but her,
does.
just her.
I will do my best to make sure she's safe.
Where are you, heading next?
I believe we're on our way to, the Dwarven Valley next.
Anyway, I don't want to keep you. Was there anything else I can do for you?
No. That's good for me.
Let's go finish breakfast with the pair of them, and then we'll let you out of here.
Alright.
And he shuffles out to join Elsa and Tavini and fixes you a plate, pushes it over to you, kind of does a double take, and then adds a couple more slices of bacon on top of there. For the sake of brevity, you guys are invited to a second breakfast.
Ooh, second breakfast.
Sweet. That's right before 11sies.
Yep. And luncheon.
Yep. Brunch. Lunch.
After which, you are bid farewell and join the others at the Northlook Tavern. Haruna and the other dwarves are there, preparing for their travels with packs on their backs, looking relatively impatient as the first arrivals, you know, Felgrin, Rian, Dreamer, come, and Haruna is practically bouncing as she adjusts her pack on her back. Your, friends. Is this everyone that's coming?
No, the rest are gonna get here. We just need to hold tight a little bit. They had a little bit of business they had to get done before they came along.
You're lucky Targos is so close.
Hey, it's the only reason why we didn't think it was an issue. Figured it's only a couple hours hike. We're probably gonna stay there anyways before trying to make a straight shot to Tourmaline. So.
And gradually, after probably half an hour, 45 minutes or so, Krellick and Tavini catch up with you guys, and you head out north and then start cutting westward towards Targos proper.
On the road again.
On the road again. It is 2 hours of uneventful travel as the dwarves are kind of talking amidst themselves in Dwarven and passing a flask back and forth to keep warm. They offer the flask to Krellick at one point.
Who doesn't want to be rude, so he'll take a hit off the flask before handing it back.
Puff, puff, pass.
For which you see Storn kind of gives you a broad grin before kind of jerking his head skyward and taking a quick look around, making sure there's no dragons about.
I think Reen will finally be like, I keep seeing you looking up, bud. What are you looking for?
You can practically feel Hruna and Korix, the other dwarves' groans, as Storn, his face lights up. And it's with something akin to excitement, but certainly not the sort of excitement that makes you happy. The kind where, like, you're agitated almost.
Yeah.
There's a,
He's doing the Pepe
I've
Sylvia.
seen it. I've seen it. There's a white dragon that lives out here, and I've seen it.
But I tell you what.
A big
Where
one
did you see this white dragon at?
in the sky.
Holy shit.
Oh no!
About how long ago was this?
This would have been last year.
Okay, never mind.
Anybody else see it?
No?
Usually, dragons are hard to miss once they're up in the air.
Especially if they're huge.
Yeah.
I was on watch. It was, and he points to the darkened sky above you.
Say, this little one turns heads and she's 100th the size.
I know, that's why and he just kind of looks at her and he looks a little uneasy. But
She snaps at him.
You know, I do have a...
I'm gonna get you.
I do have a source that might be able to confirm or deny whether or not there's a white dragon in these parts.
Oh, do you have some magic?
Full to the brim of magic around here.
No. I think he'll open the pack up.
It's about time.
What?
I said it's about time.
Oh, well, God.
And Calaternathera comes drifting out of your pack, that white gold dragon skull no bigger than a cat's, with golden teeth and 2 bright white points of light in the eyes. It's almost seemed to illuminate the eye socket and nothing else, kind of reflecting off the metal some. And a poor Storn kind of squeaks at the sight of this thing looming out of your pack, 2 white points of light staring at him in the darkness. So you're afraid of white dragons, are you, boy?
I couldn't help it.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Be nice.
It's not in my nature.
I know.
Cal, weren't you a white dragon back in your heyday?
I am a white dragon.
That's debatable.
I am a white dragon.
I would eat you in a heartbeat.
If only you weren't the size of an orange.
Oh, don't. Please, you're not helping.
You're gonna get her started again.
I'm sorry, I can't help myself.
Is this normal?
Yes. Bickering's kind of what we
And
all
the other
do.
2 dwarves are kind of like staring at her like, well, that's a interesting bit of craftsmanship there.
It's interesting. Cal here, apparently, if the story is to be believed, is the soul of a white dragon that was killed or perished here in Icewind Dale.
She makes a very indignant sniff.
So, if anyone could confirm whether or not any of her kin was in this area, it would probably be her.
How'd you do that sniff thing? You don't even breathe.
It suits my temper.
Rian just grins big. He just...
Well, describe what you saw.
It was, dead of night. I was, keeping watch as I should, and, something flew across the moon, and I looked up to see, maybe it's an owl, and I've seen big owls up in the sky as well, so, I was expecting something huge. Not so big as that. It was, and he kind of points towards Miri. But he stretches out his hands, and then sort of flicks his index fingers in either direction to indicate something far larger than he can make with his arms. Easily could have overshadowed the road and then some, wider in the body. Well, that could be any number of my offspring. Not many of them survive. I either ate them or they got themselves killed. Not very clever. Not to say that, I didn't have a hand in the majority of their deaths.
Jeez.
What?
Quite the motherly type.
I get hungry.
Yes.
Bahamut
Yes.
Scales, you are not a good thing, are ya?
Excuse me, you do not take... Well, I mean, you can blaspheme for Bahamut all you want, I don't care.
Yes,
But
sir.
you start throwing Tiamat's name around, we're going to have problems. Well, most of my children were untrustworthy.
Shocking.
I mean, at the very least, you kind of expect it of your brood, but the ones that are at least clever enough not to get caught are the ones that you keep. I remember...
Say leans into the mirror.
My-
He's like, this is why she is not a role model.
Well, you hear that?
my...
According to Cal, there could be many, many dragons around here with her disposition, so that's good.
If there were a lot of them, there would not be towns remaining.
Fair point.
Hey,
The most intelligent of my offspring. I miss her. Arvaturas.
Avaturas.
Yes. Clever girl. Almost too clever.
Does she still live?
How the hell would I know?
I don't know. Intuition?
Eh,
Well,
clever white dragons get themselves killed.
clearly.
Yeah. Hate to see what happens to the dumb ones.
She was the most sensitive of my children.
Well, sounds like the dumb ones are eaten by their mother, so...
I will be the first to admit that my white kin are not the brightest. But there are some of us that excel. Those are the ones that live.
You said she was the most sensitive. What do you mean by that?
Well, the least likely of my offspring to kill somebody without first having a conversation.
Oh, well.
And then eating them, but at least she learned.
Well, Storm, bodes well. At least she'll talk to you first.
That's the trick, young one. And she kind of floats over to Miri. You always try to get as much as you can out of people before you eat them. You never know what sort of deals they might be willing to make.
Don't you have a pouch to go back to?
So she brings a fair point.
Grin, you really want to get into this right now?
Well,
Because I
did
tell you what,
Cut off the eating them part, and it's a good bit of advice.
get the most out of them before...
Before XYZ, yes.
You do realize you're like the first one that Miri would try to take everything from and eat first, right? You know that,
I
right?
can't imagine why. I'm the only one in this group that challenges her. All you do is coddle and fawn over her. She's going to be spoiled.
No, she's going to be strong.
It's very strong riding on your shoulder like a baby.
It won't be long before she can't ride on my shoulder. Don't you worry, she's my daughter. You can worry about your own.
Oh god, no. No.
Avatures would frequently, I recall the taste of the sailors she would carry back to the lair. Sometimes to appease me, sometimes I would just steal what she brought. It's my right, my child.
Huh. Well, you'll forgive me if I don't believe taking from your children is the best way of teaching them.
I mean, why else have children?
Such a good mother. Well,
Yeah, you are stone fucking cold.
I'm an ice dragon.
Oh, yeah, you got me there.
She said it before I could.
Yeah.
well, keep us company as we walk. This has been highly entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to. I can understand if you want to go back into the
Oh
pouch.
no, I very much enjoy the company.
yes, my pack,
Spend all
my
my time.
pack, my rules.
I'm just gonna force her.
And seeing that she very clearly makes poor Storn uncomfortable, she makes it a point over the next hour or so as you complete your walk into Targos to float just behind him and over his right shoulder to where the glow of her eyes illuminates the side of his head.
Just stiff, like walking all stiff, just.
And every once in a while, she floats a little closer to his ear, opens those golden jaws wide, and bites down loud enough to make a snapping sound that has him jumping in the dark.
Would you leave the poor boy alone? Jeez.
Velgrid's
Torment people in your
he's not-
family and your life.
He's not openly laughing, but he's trying not to laugh. Okay, alright, come on. Back in the pack.
I cannot be summoned like some hound.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, that's your lot in life, for now.
I don't even have a life.
Exactly. In you go.
And those eyes wink very maliciously. And you can almost feel the intense, icy hatred of this white dragon.
He just kind of nods his head towards back.
One day,
Mm-hmm.
you will be in a position where you will want to find a body for me.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to that day. You are the first. No, but the last I will devour. You will watch as these fools go down my gullet.
Well, I'll get to live longer.
In the meantime, into the fucking pack.
And she floats into the pack and sort of tucks herself down, and you hear from Storn,
Sorry about that, fella.
She is delightful.
Storn gives you the most hurt look that a person can. He's almost like a puppy, just
Trying to shed
yeah,
light.
delightful.
Okay. You saw a dragon. I wanted to provide answers. Unfortunately, she's kind of horrible.
Kind of.
Yeah, she is. Which is funny
Yeah,
because
she's,
absolutely can hear us. Like, it's a fucking leather pouch. Like,
I can very much hear you.
I love her so much, though.
Next time I roast her.
Well, I mean, that's how we're all gonna die. You heard it. Just gonna
What do you
eat it.
suppose that means? One of these days, we're going to want to find a body for her.
Oh, I imagine she'll try to strike a deal.
That seems like a really bad way to put it. Like, you're going to want to find a body for me, so I'm definitely going to kill you. Kind of makes me not want to do that in any way, shape, or form.
Nobody said they were good at making deals.
It's true, she did say their kin aren't the brightest. Maybe she wasn't so far ahead of them.
Yeah. She is a white dragon, and she did get herself killed.
That's true.
Well, considering he's keeping her prisoner in a backpack,
Yep.
he's not going to be resurrecting her anytime soon.
No.
He just kind of claps the dwarf on the shoulder. It's fine. She can't harm you.
So, the rest of the journey passes uneventfully as you approach the town of Targos. The moonlight falls on it, and you can see it is built immediately adjacent on the shores of Mare Duodon, which is one of the lakes up here. You can't even really see anything but the tops of the buildings beyond the palisade walls that surround the entire thing.